So this is a question I've had in my mind, and if you want to share, like, how do you measure your grow? Like, how do you measure the performance of your grow? Is it
they can buy anything they want,
like percentage? Is it by dollar per square foot? Like, how do you measure the performance of?
To have that type of following.
So I don't care about yields.
Yeah.
I'm not here trying to smash 4 pounds a light. Like, I don't care about yields at all.
Yeah, and we have.
I just want good burning weed.
Right.
So whatever I do to get to that point, whether it's a couple pounds of light or less,
well, you know what I mean?
as long as the weed burns properly,
end up
it's
in somebody's
smokable,
hands within 2
I can deal with
weeks.
genetics and so
Or
on.
some other
And flavors.
Product 6 months.
I run everything the same basically every time. I don't really change much. So
read the packaging data.
for me, like sometimes I'll get some leaves a little bit burned here and there, but
They just take it like that.
I don't really have any problems because I don't really change many things.
With flow through, if
my place is like,
he doesn't like
it's a joke how simple everything
another
is.
company, let's say, had a general listing that it had to fill.
Like I said, I just try to kind of get to the same point every time,
Whatever it
and
was, even if it didn't meet their
you
standard.
know, I don't like push. I don't push the limits of my crop.
Where with a lot of
What made you go from legacy to legal? Like, what made you want to make that switch? Because there's a lot of guys like you that kind of just stay in it, right? So like for you,
they know that they
There's a
can
few
reuse
reasons.
it, they like it,
You know,
preserves the terpenes
one, it's
better,
nice to not have to worry about
the
bullshit.
actual cost.
Yeah.
You know, not that I was worried, but you know, something can always go
With
wrong.
like North Canada,
Yeah.
keeping the glass appeal, the bag appeal is.
You know, there's a lot of different reasons on why,
It's not something that
100%.
compromise is not gonna be
you know,
okay.
why this is better.
I feel like because I think black market moves away.
But
from
once
the
again,
glass
some people can't.
even
Because
right.
again,
They can't make
wanna
it work.
increase their margin,
Yep.
profitability.
And I don't know if it's just their,
And how
like,
are they gonna
genetics
do
are
that?
obviously a
They
massive
eliminate
thing in
certain
grow
costs.
quality.
So the difference between
Like,
a
I try to
jar
explain,
and a
like,
piece of plastic, it's a big
There's a market for everything in
big,
pot,
big difference, right?
but there's only a few people who are like really
Is
elite
there,
at it,
is there
Yeah.
anything?
and you can see
coming through
by
those
their
strains, like, you're very
product,
excited
and then
about?
other people you can see like some is good, some is bad, some's good, some's bad, and other people is some's always kind of bad.
right?
So we got like
That I think is also a big deciding factor if you should go into it or not, because it's gonna tell you if you can be successful.
People in, out,
Like
in,
that was why the
in,
black
out.
market always did so well, because
Again,
people went
affecting
back to
consistency.
what they enjoyed to smoke.
If you don't have the same people,
Yeah.
how
At
can
one
you
point there was no
consistent?
names.
You're right.
Trimming
Like people
is-
just
is
went back and
different,
said, "Hey,
Sure.
you still have
speed
that."
that they operate at is
exactly.
different.
But they bought what they
It
enjoyed
affects
to
everything,
smoke.
right? So I have to
Here
have
it's like, oh, what's the
that
terps? What's
consistency
the
with people,
potency? Oh, that
keep them
spec's the
happy,
same as this.
and
Like
keep them
that's not how
employed.
weed works.
So they count on us
At
as
all.
well.
And then half these tests are for gays. Like,
Yeah.
Again, that goes into
like
the
I see brown weed, man, that they're saying is 32%. There's no brown weed that's 32%. You know, I'll tell you that right now. There's no 36% weed, period. Like,
You're not a
period.
big-
Nobody
you're not a
has
big
weed that's
corporate machine like
36%.
most of these-
I don't even believe it. Not for a
They
minute.
look at the
Be about a 6-day dry where we hit them really hard to suck the water out of them. We ease off on the dehumidification and then kind of let them swell back up, so they kind of sweat that water back out from the center. Because when you get buds that are this big, there is water in the middle, right? So you hit it hard on the outside, back off, allow that middle water to sweat back out, and then dry, and then they're ready to start trimming. Like we'll go in, we'll snap the stems, we'll feel how the density and how it is. But you can see like these ones here, like these are some heavy buds. The structure's really nice. You can see the formation of them, and if you actually touch it, here I'll give you guys some gloves. just so that you could get a sense of the smell.
Do you find yourself in that predicament where you feel that pressure to get high numbers because you know that that's what the market wants? Like, how do you find that balance between, you know, growing, you know, true to how you like it, to what you think is good, and then balancing that between what the market wants, which is like high THC, right? Like,
a lot of stuff these days will put a high THC.
yeah,
Like that's the evolution of the game, you know, the genetics.
right.
You know, like a lot of these breeders breed stuff that tests high, that breed stuff that has high terps. Like it was never like that before.
That maybe don't have exposure, or don't have the.
A lot of it's kind of right there when you know, depending on what genetics you run.
14 gram per marker.
Any of the new stuff
But
all has the potential of being high.
if they bought
Unless you're running
28
something that's like really
28
old
grams,
school or something like that,
then at that point,
kind of reworked. I don't know,
you
maybe,
can
but
work the cost back. So that this
listen,
way
the
they
market,
can
if you go
enter
put
the
out
market,
20s, no one's
they
buying
save
it.
up,
And that to me doesn't make sense because
let you know what do you think.
There's
about
some
this.
I bet you there's a lot, but I bet you there's a lot of 20s people are smoking. They don't even know they're smoking it.
Glass jar,
Yep.
because now it's gonna be
Yep.
a
You know?
big,
Yep.
big.
And they think it's
But
fire.
cut that
They think
cost
it's fire.
down.
Yep.
Let's say it was like a
And the reality is, like I was just saying to you, when you come to work, if things aren't going good, fix your grow. Focus on yourself. Focus on your grow. Don't worry about what the fuck any of your competitors do. Let them do their thing. They earned that. They invested their time, their money. That's their place to do that. Go work on yourself. If you make it better, you're gonna get the rewards of that. If you don't, get into a different career. That's it. It's not for you. This industry is not for everyone. Just like any industry, you know. But a lot of people want to bash people. Like I don't want to bash nobody. I hope they all do well. Every one of them, they deserve it. They've invested time and money. Go for it, just like me. You know, and if I can help someone, I will. But at the end of the day, I'm only focused on me, and I'm only focused on my team.
There you go.
Dude, thanks for even having us in your home, man.
Oh, it's
Means a
totally
lot.
our pleasure. We love to give tours, just because people haven't seen something like this, you know, in their lifetime. If you've never seen it, to see it in action, it's nice to know where your product comes from. And us being in Vaughan, our product is as close to farm to table as it can get, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you guys don't cut corners, man. You guys are true to craft, and you can really see it in your grow rooms. And just talking to you, you guys are a wealth of knowledge. So I know that you guys you guys came from the legacy days, right? And I just want to kind of ask you, for our audience, like, what's been an adjustment that you had to make going from legacy to legal?
Well, it's a lot of paperwork, I can tell you that much. There's a lot of taxes that you pay that you didn't have to pay in the legacy market, that's for sure. But everything, I would say, that was done in the legacy market in terms of the growing style, and you know what I mean, I have to give kudos to Mike because of his wealth of experience over 30 years growing in the legacy side. That translated over here, and really that hasn't changed at all. It's exactly the same. His methodologies, the knowledge that he puts back into the actual product, everything that he's learned is evident, and to get him to change anything that he does the old school way is impossible. So if from that perspective, it's never changed.
Yeah.
Everything else in terms of the requirements from the regulatory side, obviously that's a big change. So, we've seen that happen for sure.
So I gotta say, man, like for let's say an everyday person, customer who doesn't know that much about weed, I want to hear from you. What are like the 2-3 things that you look for that can tell you between good and bad weed?
Well, I would think there's at least a few boxes that have to be checked when you're looking at any weed that you're going to find on the market. Pot is one of those things that people look for specifics like smell, the look, but more importantly, how it smokes and the flavor. So everybody's got their own perspective of what they like. Everybody's got their own flavor profile that they appreciate more than something else. But our main focus really is that the product's got to be good to smoke. If you're coughing your lungs out when you're smoking something and it's burning black ash, obviously it doesn't matter all the other things. It could look great, it could smell great, but if it doesn't smoke great, it's not great.
Right,
So you gotta check all of those boxes off in order to have that product be a good product. And we might not meet your specific flavor profile, but we've tried to achieve that by having different strains with slightly different smells and flavor profiles. But eventually, it's down to that person, that their individual personal likes. But smoking right is probably the main thing, and for it to give you that feeling that you're looking for.
Love that, man. And you probably hear it a lot. A lot of times people, customers, they, or just the everyday person, they're always looking for high THC, they're looking at numbers, right? So I want to ask you, this is straight from the source here. What's one thing that you wish people knew about cannabis, what's a misconception that you want to clear?
I wish everybody could do a blind taste test, because if you did that and I didn't tell you what the THC percentage was, I didn't tell you what the terpene percentage was, I didn't tell you what anything about the weed that you couldn't see. Now what are you relying on? You're relying on the smell. You're relying on the taste when you smoke it, and you're relying on how it smokes. And then most importantly, how do you feel? Are you stoned? How long does that high last? Do you need to smoke, a massive, cannon, or, does a single gram joint, is that enough for you? Now, if you did that blind taste test, and if I could give it to anybody, I could say, can you tell me if this is 25% or this is 30%? Everybody would give me a different answer, and they'd probably get it wrong every single time. So really, I urge people to try something that's new, smoke it, see how it feels. If you like it, buy it again.
Love it.
If you don't like it, don't buy it again.
Right. No, that's beautiful. Yeah, that'd be a very cool experiment to do, just to do a blind taste test, honestly. Sure. Yeah, that'll really shift people's minds, I think. Okay, so I also want to ask you, looking ahead in the cannabis industry, is there a trend that you're excited about, or a trend that you're kind of concerned about, just seeing where things are going, and talk about kind of what you guys are doing and what people can look forward to?
Well, I think for us, we stay on our track. We stay in our lane. We kind of do what we do best, and that's try to grow the best product that we can. As the market starts to evolve and customers become more experienced and they do more of these taste tests like I'm talking about, I think that's going to start to weed out a lot of the different products that probably shouldn't be on the market in the first place. And you'll see this separation between better product and more value brand product, and the consumers themselves will become more in tune with what they really like, and start to be repetitive buyers of what they perceive as good product.
Right on, man. So I know you're tight on time, so I'll kind of ask you a final two questions. What's your favorite strain to grow? And then what's your favorite product under Northern Canada that you feel like people are being slept on, and that people got to know about it?
I can say that our favorite product to grow is cannabis.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter which one, and some are more finicky than others. You're correct in that sense, but that's specific to each specific strain. Some of them need to be attended to in a different way. Some are a little bit more sensitive than others, but for us, I'm excited to just try to get every single consumer's profile and taste of what they're looking for, that we can have something for everyone. Because some people, tend to go one direction versus another. Some people like fruit, some people like gas, some people like rancid, cheesy smells or diesel smell. So all those different things, I think, apply to everybody's own personal preference, and hopefully that one day we'll have a suite of product that will be good for every single person.
Fair. Okay, and I'll kind of end it with this, man. For someone who's trying to enter the game, who want to be a grower, who want to just join this industry, what's a piece of advice you'd give to that person who's trying to make a name for themselves?
Wow. For somebody trying to enter in, I think you have to stay true to one main thing, and that's just trying to do the best that you can. Not try to pull the wool over anybody's eyes and put something out that doesn't represent you and your hard work. And not to diminish anybody's work, but there's no one person that can do all of this. It's an entire team. So I have to thank this to all my staff. It doesn't matter who it is. Somebody who cleans and wipes a wall is just as important as somebody who's filling a reservoir tank with nutrients, because everybody has that role and all their contributions go into that final product.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Awesome. And I gotta ask one more maybe. You know, what's a piece of advice you give yourself if you could go back, let's say like 3 years ago when you were just starting out? What's an advice you'd give to yourself?
Probably be in better shape.
Yeah.
Work out a little bit
Yeah,
more,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
eat a little bit less.
Yeah.
But you know, I can't really go back and in hindsight and say one thing or the other. Every experience that we have
Builds you
up
up.
into our the point we are in the present makes us who we are.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really change anything, because we are who we are
Yeah.
because of what we've done to get here.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, yo, thank you, man. Yo, you guys are real, man. Like, since coming in here, welcoming my team, the whole Spiritleaf team, you guys have been so generous and so nice to us, man. Thank you so much,
My
man.
pleasure. Come
It's
back
been-
anytime.
Thank you.
Take care.